Howdy, welcome back to part 2 of the Perma Vaal Blade Vortex build. I'm going to talk through some of the changes that happened and then showcase the build from stream a little bit ago. I will pull the video up now so we'll kind of skip through the VOD together. Pull it up on big mode. Okay, so if you didn't see the last video, the way the build works is you permanently spam Vaal Blade Vortex, so you have a ton of them out. The way you do this is through the dagger enchant. I'll showcase it all in the game later, but this is what the build looks like on clear on Simulacrum. I didn't get any mapping footage. I can go over to map real quick to showcase that. But basically, if you see this number down here in the bottom right, this is how many uses I have. So you can see I'm sitting, I don't really go to 0 uses. I can always just kind of sit and cast. Towards the end of it, I run out of casts, but you can see it's just kind of perma right there. So that's the build on a Simulacrum. That was wave 4. I'll skip ahead a little bit to like a better wave. But this is the entire build. You just spam blade vortexes and they're everywhere. It doesn't do a ton of damage. Drops does like maybe, I don't know, I'll post a pop. 2 to 400k, maybe 500k per blade. The idea is you want to stack as many blades as you can. You also get benefits from leech from this. Here is some Uber Elder stuff I was doing before that. Actually, the later runs were, no, the earlier runs were less scuffed. So I'll showcase a little bit more of it. But yeah, so overall, I'll do an overview while this plays. This is 1-man HP, and then towards the end it gets to 5-man HP. But basically, the TLDR for this build is it's fun. I really like the idea of it. It can do bosses. I'm doing 5-man Uber Elder carries. I did like 10 or 15 today. The mapping feels really good. I'd say it's more of a mapper. If I was going to stick with this build, I'm going to sell it off. But if I was going to stick with it, what I would do is change out the calms for an explodey chest, just so the mapping feels better, and then just push the speed, drop the Balbala, and probably the Soul Ripper too, because you really don't need the Soul Ripper for mapping. You kind of want it for bosses. It doesn't. It definitely helps. It helps get rid of any dead time. And you can see these little Herald of Ash pops right here. That's from the penance mark. You can see the penance mark on Shaper right there. That's on him, and then it spawns the little ads, which give you Vaal Souls and flash charges. So right there, yeah, these little pops. When it hits, it spawns an ad. The Vaal BVs go and hit it, so it's super comfy for that. What else? Yeah, so if you're thinking about playing it, definitely I would gear it more towards a clear build. This was geared more towards a bosser, and not really a clear build. So I'll post a POB in the description for a clear build and for a bosser, but that's enough of that. That's the run. Damage is okay. Like, it's not bad. Runs are pretty comfy. They took a little while, but I'll close that out. So the way it works is this enchant here, this top line on the stagger. Socketed Vaal skills do not apply soul gain prevention, which means when you use a Vaal skill, you can immediately start getting charges back. That lets the Blade Vortex kill stuff to consume charges, but also you get charges from hitting rare and unique enemies. So on a single target, you can theoretically like perma sustain. Crafting this was a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I tried to hit added fire as a prefix as well for a long time. We were combinating, and I spent like 60 div on it, and I gave up and I settled for this. So I just crafted control destruction and more spell damage, both a shaper mod. Using fossils, if you want to craft this, I'd recommend etheric and corroded. They're pretty cheap, and I hit it in like, I don't know, 20. I hit this a couple times while I was recombinating. I don't think I went over 100, so it's like 3 or 4 div to get the prefixes. And then you do suffixes cannot be changed, and then reforge speed for the faster casting. Faster casting makes it feel a lot better. I don't really have any cast speed on this build, and takes it from 0.76 to 0.46 cast time. So some of the other changes from the last video, you do not want to take Shepherd of Souls. This will skyrocket and ramp your cost over time. So it's really good for casting one once in a while. It's really bad for casting a bunch. We're casting a bunch, so don't take this. Instead, I took this one and this one. This gives me a bunch of reduced mana reservation for or reduced life reservation, I guess. So let's run Petrified Blood, High Level Vitality, Herald of Purity, Herald of Ash, and I didn't have Arctic Armor on that whole time. Oh shit. Okay, that's why I got Shaper Slant. Oh, okay. I died once in the Uber Elder fight, and it was because I didn't have Arctic Armor on. Okay, that makes sense. But you still have over half your life reserved, so you can do that. Rest of the build's the same. Avatar of Fire, Life, got this. And then Pain Attunement. I dropped EB because I'm Blood Magic with Agnostic. It does use a Immutable Force and Blood Notch setup. Probably my favorite setup in the whole game, so it uses those. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Soul Ripper is helpful for keeping flasks up for bosses. I use the Vaal on it. Again, I'll post a bosser setup with this and a clear setup. You do not need this for the clear setup. So for the clear setup, I'll just run like a Quicksilver or something. And then, yeah, Wrathpith, Defiance, Valerium. Oh yeah, this is the one I want to talk about. So this grants level 20 Penance Mark in that Shaper clip you were seeing, the Uberelder clip. This is what spawns little ads. So Penance Mark spawns little enemies when you put it on for example, say you put it on Shaper. When you hit Shaper, it spawns 4 little ads, 4 little enemies. Those enemies grant Vaal soul charges and flash charges. So you hit them and kill them, they give you more BVs and more flash charges for your Soul Ripper. So it helps you just keep more blades up on bosses. On clear, if you're making this a clear build, you do not need this at all. I'll go show a map without either of these real quick, and I'll cheat and use Toxic Sewer. Toxic Sewer is busted. Is this ritual? Cool. So I'll go show a map with this. So without those two and just a Quicksilver on, you can get an idea of how the build plays. Pop BV, you got to get these guys up first. What is this map? Okay. There we go. Now you cast your first Vaal Blade Vortex, and you're at 4 again. And then you cast more. And you kind of just keep casting them. If you watch this number down here, that'll tell you how many Blade Vortexes I can cast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right now I probably have about 10 to 12 up. In theory, if you have full stacks, it's like your cast speed times your duration, or divided by your duration or whatever. My duration right now is 7 seconds. If I was playing a clear build, I would drop this Balbala setup and maybe even this Recoup and come down here and grab skill effect duration with this more skill effect duration node. That takes them, right now mine are at around 7 seconds, takes them up to about 10.5 seconds. So you can keep it up longer. And yeah, this is the build. You just spam Vaal Blade Vortexes everywhere. It's kind of hard to see how many there are in here. I should put a different map, but it feels really good in here. And you can see the auto target. So oops, don't need that. And yeah, that's a good showcase. So that's the build. I think I covered all the mechanics. It's pretty straightforward. You just take the you take this node here, this skill effect duration and required souls. This basically doubles your damage. Means you can cast twice as many blades in regards to your Vaal souls. So yeah, it requires half as many souls to cast. You can cast twice as many. Requires half as much generation of those. And then skill effect duration, super nice. Maybe it's not double. I don't know. Maybe it's like 1.5. But it's really strong. And then Vaal skills, damage, and then these. I think that's everything. The build, if I was to go play it again, if you're going to play this, I'd definitely gear it more towards a clear build. The bossing setup was pretty comfy with the Penance Mark. This is definitely required. I don't think you need a Soul Ripper for the single target, but you definitely want this to keep your single target damage up. So to keep the blades up on single target. But yeah, that's the build. If you have any questions, ping me in game or comment. I'm pretty responsive there. And if you end up playing it, and let me know how it goes if you end up playing it. But thanks. Bye.